Hi, today we've got Heidi Paulson from CUC Software. Heidi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, Heidi, tell me a little bit about your role at CUC Software and what CUC Software what problems CUC Software actually solves.
Well, I'm the Vice President of Sales and Development for CUC. CUC is a software company that has been around for about 35 years, developing software for construction companies, primarily service-related companies, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, that sort of thing. We develop a special niche software that does their accounting, job costing, service dispatching, all the way down to marketing and data mining. We have a mobile app that the technicians in the field can utilize to get their work orders and process work order information back to the office.
Wow. So it really is a piece of software that these companies really depend on, essentially for their livelihood. I mean, once they go ahead and make that decision to use CUC, their business essentially depends on it.
Absolutely. Yep. And so that's one reason why customer support is one of our top priorities at CUC. We get to know our customers, how they do business, the people in their office, and so when they call, they get a real person. They don't get a voicemail, press 1 to get here and 2 to get there. They actually get a person that can help them with their problems.
Okay, very cool. Now, there must be other software like this. So how is it that your software differentiates from your competitors?
Well, we've developed a product over the course of 35 years, specific to this industry. We've got a long track record of excellent customer support, a name in the industry. We understand the industry. We're not just developing a piece of accounting software. We're trying to plug into the industry. We understand job costing. We understand workflow, and like I mentioned before, customer support is huge for us. And so, getting that real person that gets it is a big deal.
Very cool. Talk to me a little bit about pricing. What does it cost? And even before we even go into pricing, let me ask you something else. We've kind of hit in terms of different verticals that you zone in on. In terms of size, though, and even location, maybe, I'm not sure if your software is multilingual or not. What's the ideal customer look like for CUC? Is it, entities that have 20 or less employees, 20 to 50 employees, 20 to 100? Talk to me a little bit about what an ideal customer for you looks like, and is it primarily for people who speak English?
Okay, yes, English our software is marketed throughout the U.S. and Canada.
Okay.
So because we do the accounting functions and so forth, payroll and tax tables and all that, we are specific to those two markets.
Okay.
But we do have customers all throughout the U.S. and Canada. About half and half of our customers are Canadian versus U.S. companies. We're based in the U.S.
Okay.
We do target small to mid-size contractors, I suppose, although we've got customers that have been with us 35 years. So they started out as small companies, but they've grown their business over time. But our target, for say a new customer coming on board would be a small to mid-size. Ideal probably would be a contractor right in the $1 to $2 million in sale range, kind of in that neighborhood. Certainly we have customers that are smaller, some that are larger, but that's kind of our target niche. We've got, people that anywhere from 1 or 2 technicians in the field to 45 technicians or whatever in the field. Office personnel, we've got customers that are, they've got maybe 1 full-time accounting person and, meaning, the payroll and the receivables and payables. And maybe a dispatcher to companies that have, they may have a payables person and an inventory person and so forth. So as they grow, so we really fit a broader spectrum there, I suppose. There's a lot of small contractors out there, so that's where our focus is.
Okay. And go ahead.
And a lot of those companies don't have an accountant on staff.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Larger companies
Yep.
might do that. So we work with their accountants. So they a lot of time will have their accountant call us within a question.
I see.
And that is covered under their maintenance agreement.
Okay, so it really is very much a full service type of a relationship here.
Mm-hmm. About the relationship, yes.
Yeah, it really is. It really turns into a very strong relationship based on what I'm hearing here. So look, I decide to go ahead and move forward. I go ahead and want to transact with you. How long does it take me to actually learn the software and implement that across my organization? Because there's a lot of different aspects within this piece of software that I'm hearing. So, what's the learning curve look like?
Well, of course, that varies with level of
expertise,
flexibility, a person, level of knowledge and just getting around it. But I'd say, and then our system is modularized, so companies can pick and choose the features they want to use. So, but what we kind of consider a base system, a base package, would be your accounting, your payroll, your inventory, your job costing, and service dispatch, say. And then we've got add-ons from there. Okay. But say if you started, say, with what we consider a base, and say you were one of these smaller size companies where you're going to be the guy that's going to learn the majority of the system.
Right.
We're not training different people to do different functions.
Sure.
I would say realistically, because normal business needs to take place while you're doing this, so you're still having to. Most people like to take a month to do your GL setup and get your payroll set up and everything before you go live. Your live date, then you're going to the first month. We're going to walk you through a lot of things.
Okay.
And it's going to be the first payroll that you're going to do in the system. It's going to be the first, And so we're going to walk you through. You're going to have a person that's going to walk you through those things. Mm-hmm. After that, then you're just going to start to pick up speed.
Of course.
And if you're a new company, you're not pulling over a bunch of information from the old system. You're just start hitting the ground running. Okay. If you're a company that's been using another software or manual books or whatever, and then you're converting, we have people on staff that help with data conversion also. So to help bring your customer list in, so you're not keying those in.
Right. Okay. Now, what does it cost me? For the basic program, and let's also talk about the range that does include some of the modules that you're referring to.
Okay, so it does depend on the number of users, but say you're a small company, you need a 3-user license.
I see.
And we have both lease and purchase options. So a small company, the lease option is kind of nice because you're not having to come up with a big chunk up front.
Sure.
So say our base system, a 3-user license on a lease, you're looking at probably around $300 a month. Okay. That includes updates, enhancements, and support.
Got it.
So you can call us, and we do probably about 4 major releases throughout the course of the year, and that's included in that lease.
Sure.
After now we have enough confidence in our product and our lease that if you decide to drop the lease after 6 months or a year, you don't have a big balloon or a pie out. We just say thank you very much for giving us.
Right.
So. Okay,
and what's the purchase option look like?
Purchase option for that same plan, you'd be looking at around $10,000.
Okay, that's a one-time fee now, but then you don't get the benefit of the upgrades, correct?
Right, then you would have an annual maintenance agreement that you would subscribe to for updates and support.
Got it. Okay, and then the modules, I presume, are just based on what type of modules they're asking for, and the prices vary significantly at that point. And
right, we have things like vehicle maintenance, so you can track, your oil changes, your tire rotating, and things like it for your service fleet. We have an interface with Nextrack GPS systems. Okay. We have a mobile app for service technicians and a whole host of add-on modules that estimating and.
Very cool. So what is the most common feedback you get from your customer base in terms of things that they would like to see within the software, whether it's customer service related, although you say, hey, the service is not, is one of your differentiators. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's going to be one of the common denominators in terms of things that you hear from your customer base. But what is a common denominator you hear from your customers in terms of functionality or things that they would like to see in the coming months/years?
But the big thing over the course of probably the last year or two has been the push for mobile.
Sure.
And that's been the buzz, and that's been so our mobile app we've had it live out for about 1.5 years, coming up on 2 years now, and we have a programmer on staff that's really all he does is on that mobile app. So that's in active development. It's really pushing out there. The other thing that we're seeing a lot of requests for have to do with integrating other services. We're working on integrating with a credit card processing company, so that transactions that are set up a monthly bill, for example, for a maintenance contract to service your furnace, that could automatically be
right there.
Make the accounting entries and stuff. So that's on our radar for the coming year. We're also working on, we're in beta release right now on a complete new version of the system, moving it from into a .NET environment. So that is, like I said, it's in beta right now. We'll be rolling out probably this spring to our existing customers. So that's a big project that will open some other doors for us. So
And in terms of signing up with you, I mean, what's the, how long does that take? I mean, does it require, again, I'm sure it depends on how big of a size of a business I am. But, generally speaking, is it a week-long process to really do some sort of analysis in terms of my requirements? Is it a 2-day process to sign up with you? And tell me how I do sign up. Is it through your online website, or does it require a sales rep to actually communicate?
Most people start the process through our website. There's a spot where they can request a demo. A demo, we have a few different options available. One is a full download of a sample of the program with all the modules available, and they can punch in and play around with it.
Sure.
Most people download that, then they'll also set up a web-based demo with myself or one of my coworkers to walk them through, because it's nice because you can play around with it and get in it and really try it out, but sometimes it's like, okay, where do I start?
Sure.
So a lot of times they'll download that, we'll do a walkthrough, and then they can get in and play around with it as well. You decide that, you like the program, this is where you want to go. Visiting with me, we need to talk about what your current, what your server's like. Is your hardware in good shape to get space and all that good stuff?
Right.
So, and then we have a discussion about data conversion. If you've got, existing software you've been using that's maybe just an accounting package, well, that's where a lot of these smaller companies that decide that they're ready for that next level of industry-specific vertical software, as opposed to the standard QuickBooks package that they bought when they started their company. So they're really ready to get into some of those functions like contract maintenance and serialized inventory and tracking equipment models and serial numbers that are installed, things like that. And so we'll have a conversation about data conversion. We can get that scheduled. Usually we say, can you send us a sample file so we can see, because everybody uses fields other than the way they were intended. It just happens. So you may have a lot of stuff in notes, for example. It require an additional level of hands-on during the conversion. So we'll have a conversation about that. We can usually work that in and get that scheduled within a week time. It just kind of depends on your timing, our timing, and so forth. So we try and get that in as quickly as possible. We can get you, your server's good. We're ready to install SQL. We use SQL Express. So there's you don't have to buy a heavy version of SQL to run our system. So we get that installed. We get the database ready to go. Even before data conversion happens, we can have somebody working on that and also get you installed, so you can start putting in things that aren't going to be converted. usually payroll, for example. You're going to put in your employees. You're not going to convert everybody who ever worked for you for the last 10 years. You're just going to put in your current employees.
Right.
And set up your benefit and deduction package and things like that. We work with you in setting up a GL and mapping that for conversion, because a lot of times people have accounts in their existing GL that maybe they don't use anymore.
Right.
And things like that.
Well, it sounds like you've got a very, very comprehensive solution for contractors. And if I'm a contractor, I'd like to certainly dig deeper. And if I've got a substantial business, like you said, one that's doing about $1 million too, then hey, I'm looking for a serious software solution. CUC is something I definitely want to take a peek at. I certainly appreciate your time today, and I hope our audience member actually do reach out to you just to learn more about your software.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and thanks for giving us an opportunity to share what we have.
Sure, it was a pleasure. Thanks, Heidi.